Well, welcome along to the Sporting Life Timeform preview of Aintree on Thursday, day one of the Randox Grand National Festival in association with Paddy Power. David Hall, delighted to be joined by Matt Brocklebank and Kieran Clark, and for a fascinating opening day to the Aintree Festival. The feature race is the Aintree Bowl. We're going to get the ratings graphic up for this. Matt, this is a stellar renewal of the 3 mile grade one.
Really is. Yeah, certainly if all these horses bring their A game, personally I think that's a bit of a long shot in itself, just for all these horses to really perform on the day, because plenty of them have question marks against their name. Shishkin obviously tops the ratings there. He's not far by much though, is he? Only a pound ahead of Applutar, who is having a really rough time of things this season, obviously pulling up at Haydock, and then after missing an engagement over Christmas, came back at Cheltenham and had another rough trip and ended up pulling up there. But that's probably not really his fault, was it? He got hampered by Ahoy, Senor, who's in here as well. It's just a brilliant little race. I mean, I'm happy to take on Shishkin. I know he's like favourite now. He goes without a tongue tie, doesn't it? We were talking about that earlier this morning. What do you make of that, Kieran?
It's interesting, isn't it? Just looking back at those ratings, Shishkin's rating comes from that win at Ascot. Applutar's from his Gold Cup win last year, where the likes of Conflated and Braveman's Game are from this year's Gold Cup, which we'll see shortly. So you see there's literally £4, is that, in between the top three. It's a great renewal. But yeah, talking of Shishkin, he's a horse that I've come on here the last twice when he's around. I said he's got no chance at Ascot and he won, and I said he'd win at Cheltenham and he got beat. So we'll go back to the Ascot view, and that I think he'll definitely stay the 3 miles, but there's no tongue tie, and he was a horse that improved for it, I thought, at Ascot. And
Henderson did say, didn't he? He did say it was coming off after Cheltenham, so that was in the immediate aftermath. And I've got to say, some horses do resent them. I had to share in a horse called Tadleal, who ran no racing once, twice, and it came off, and he bounced back to form. So that would be interesting. We've got the video from that Gold Cup. Matt, we'll start with no Galloping de Champ in here, but we've got Brave Man's Game, we've got Conflated, we've lost Ahoy, Senor and a Plutar at this stage. Paul Nicholls in his Betfair column really talking up Brave Man's Game, thinks he's got an outstanding chance. Does he win this race on this evidence?
Well, I think he probably brings this is the best, strongest recent staying form. There's absolutely no question. And when it comes to horses having a really hard race here, only just less than a month ago, I think you just have to trust the trainers, don't you? And you put your faith in Paul Nicholls and Gordon Elliott and the like to get these horses right. I'm actually quite interested in Gordon Elliott's horse here, Conflated. He got beat 6.5 lengths or something there by Brave Man's Game, but if you go back just before the footage started, typically at the second last fence, just coming up to that, he's just squeezed for room by Brave Man's Game, and he just got caught in a little pocket, which really didn't help him. I think you could maybe half that deficit and say that Conflated was beaten probably 3 and a bit lengths. I'd mark him up definitely for that run. He actually came here on the back of falling in the Ryanair last year. He ran, I would say, a career best. He was beaten a length by Clandos Obo in this race. He's had a light campaign as well. I know a few of the others have as well, but I think Conflate is really solid in terms of like running his race, whereas there are major question marks about the others. Back to Brave Man's Game. Look, he lost his way a little bit in the spring in the past. He's clearly a better horse now as an 8-year-old. They think they've got him really right. He's the horse to beat, but at prices, I'm with Conflated.
Okay, we'll have a look at the pace map, because the one thing's clear from the pace map for this race. Ahoy Senor, who fell and badly interfered with Applutar in the Gold Cup, he's the one he could potentially get a very easy time of it up front.
He could, yeah. He's won at this meeting the last 2 years. He beat Brave Man's Game both times as well. Just we'll quickly mention, I don't think Brave Man's Game was right last year though, and it's interesting, isn't it? Because Steric Fox, is he banned? Is that why he can't ride? Or
he's injured.
He's injured.
So he's touch and go for Saturday. Brian Hughes.
Yeah, interesting for a horse that needs a real forceful ride. They've put Brian Hughes on board, who you really won't think that, but he's brilliant judge of pace. So he's definitely going to get an easy lead, but you'd think they're not going to give him too much rope, considering his excellent course record. And I'm going to have to tip a Plutard. I think he's had excuses both times this year. I think did they blame it on something like a hay fever or a chill that he picked up before Haydock? And just going back to that Gold Cup race, I just watched it back in the office before we came down, and he's just behind Galloping the Champs when he ironically nearly gets brought down by Ahoy Senor. And you go back to that Gold Cup last year, and he's rated £3 higher than Brave Man's Game. The way he finished there, you think a flat 3 miles is really Applutar's bag, and the fact you can back him at third in a betting, he's worth one more chance. Dipromed not in the same form he was at Cheltenham, but he's still in decent enough heart. So yeah, I'm willing to give him another chance.
Matt, selection only?
Conflated for me, Dave, yeah.
Conflated for Matt. Let's have a look now at the Aintree Hurdle. Now, this features potentially the last run over timber of Constitution Hill. We're going to get the Timeform ratings up here. And Kieran, is that far clear here on these ratings? You almost expect it to be a shorter price than he is.
Yeah, I mean, 1 to 7, I thought it'd be about 1 to 20, to be honest. But listen, he's I think I can safely say he's the best hurdler I've ever seen. Certainly in the flesh. I was lucky enough to be there on Champion Hurdle Day, and he just has to turn up, doesn't he? The trip won't be an issue at all. It very much looks like it could be a case of what's going to turn up for second. Can Epatante bounce back after that mare's hurdle run? Sharjah ran a great race in the county off a really high weight, and Zanahiyr was best of these behind him in the Champion Hurdle. So it is very much a case of the battle for second, which there isn't much between them at all. And in regards to his rating, I think it's going to be quite hard for him to surpass that rating under these circumstances anyway. That's
the question, isn't it, Matt? We've got this video replay of him winning the Champion Hurdle. It's very obvious that Nico de Boinville is easy on him after the last. They weren't going after any ratings records at Cheltenham on this Tuesday. But if there is to be a day where the handbrake will fully come off, it's going to be, if this is his last one over hurdles, we might as well find out what's fully under the bonnet, surely.
Is the handbrake not off, Dave? The Timeform piece says it all, doesn't it? It just shows that the experts know fine well there is a little bit more in there. Coming up to this last hurdle, there was obviously a heart and mouth moment where he just launched at it and managed to get the landing.
He wasn't even in the wings.
No, he gave it an absolutely brilliant leap at the last, and Nico's just sort of nudged him out to win very, very easily. Zanahiyr there back, a dozen lengths further back in third. He reopposes. I think, just spoke to Patrick Mullins actually, and he's very much of the opinion that you've got kind of two races in one, Constitution Hill and then the rest. Sharjah is worth a look. He's about, I think with Sky Bet, I think he's 7 to 2 in the betting without Constitution Hill, which I think there might be a bit of juice in that because there's absolutely nothing to find with these other horses. Excuse me. He's trying 2.5 miles for the first time. He's always looked like a horse that'll get it, and he'll just be ridden cold. Now, tactically, it is really quite interesting. You'd imagine I Like to Move It might be the one. Constitution Hill's possibly going to make the run in here, isn't it? Yeah, I think so. I Like to Move It. It's obviously going to be up there with him as well. Sorrell's going to run his race, but Sharjah, yeah, he's got that turn of foot, and if it just sort of turns into a little sprint between the other 5, I could see him coming through to finish second.
Plenty of other racing on the opening day, Kieran. In 30 seconds, give us another best bet for day one at Aintree.
I think Banbridge will win the first, and Famous Clermont will win the Fox Hunters. He shapes a lot better than the distance beating suggests at Cheltenham. He's back down in trip, and he's got Will Biddick on board, who's a top-class amateur.
All the things I was expecting. Tipping the Fox Hunters weren't high on the list. That's fantastic. Matt, another best bet for Thursday?
Yeah, the Red Run handicap chase, the 2 mile handicap at 4.40. I know there's a real improver here at the bottom of the weights in Douglas talking for Lucinda Russell, but I'm going to oppose him on price. There's a load of badly handicapped horses in here, I must be honest. The Irish horses I'm not taken by one bit. Hassan Key I thought was rock solid each way selection here. Just finished second to Red Rookie, a well handicapped horse. That was at Warwick. This is a horse coming back to form. He's been a cracking little horse for Laura Morgan. I think there's a nice pot in him off a mark of 135.
There you go. Fantastic afternoon ahead at Aintree on day one. All eyes on that Aintree Bowl and Constitution Hill, potentially his final appearance over hurdles. Anyway, there's the best bets from Matt and Kieran, and good luck with your own wagers at Aintree on Thursday.